What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back again with another Tottenham update for you guys. Hope you're all having a good Saturday. Tottenham play Bournemouth tomorrow, obviously, on New Year's Eve. I hope you're all getting your New Year's resolutions through the door. But I know what I want for my new year, and that is a new centre-back. And I'm sure Brian can agree with me. As you've noticed, Ben is still not with me today, but Brian is being an able deputy stepping in for him. So thank you very much, Brian, from Tottenham on Tour. Of course, go subscribe to Tottenham on Tour. The link will be in the title of this video. But without further ado, let's talk about some of the transfer news going around Tottenham in the last, today, basically, the last 24 hours. And things are hotting up, it's fair to say, especially when it comes to Radu Dragusin of Genoa. Obviously, Genoa played last night against Inter Milan at the San Siro. They got a very credible draw. And Dragusin was on the score sheet. So that obviously definitely got people talking. It definitely got the conversation going. And as of today, there's been a lot of talk from journalists in Italy about Dragusin. We'll go through all the reports. There is a lot of them, so bear with me. Fabrizio Romano says Postecoglou considers Dragusin as a great option for Tottenham as the new centre-back. Club-to-club talks ongoing with Genoa. Dragusin is understood to be keen on the move. He's gone on to say Tottenham are prepared to send their first verbal bid for Radu Dragusin after talks open with Genoa. As revealed last night, Dragusin has already said yes. He also goes on to say on his YouTube channel that Postecoglou considers Dragusin perfect for the Tottenham project. The fee would be around 30 million euros. The negotiations are advancing and everything is going well. DiMarzio has chimed in and has said Tottenham are ready to make an offer of 30 million euros to Genoa for Radu Dragusin. There are also other Italian clubs interested, but Tottenham are leading the race to sign the player. Spurs are ready to pay the 30 million euros for Genoa for his services. Dragusin's agent has been speaking as well. He spoke yesterday after their game against Inter Milan. This is via Longari on X. He says this is the agent quoted as saying, "In my opinion, if he leaves Genoa, he has to do it for a very important team. I'm talking about one of the top 5 or 6 teams in the Premier League, or the top team in Italy like Inter or AC Milan. I give these names as examples, not to say they are interested. They are very strong teams that we would like, and they were interested in him. Let's see now he thinks about working. If the right opportunity doesn't arrive in January, then we will renew." So obviously keeping his options open there. Matteo Moretto, another journalist out in Italy, has said Tottenham want a defender for January and the first choice is Todibo, but in the last few hours the candidacy of Dragusin is rising. The first contacts both with Genoa and with the player's entourage, who is a very welcome profile for Postecoglou. The next few days will be decisive. And he goes on to say that Dragusin is on track for Tottenham and is moving forward concretely. The English club are preparing the official offer to convince Genoa. The player has already said yes to the transfer. Sky Sports Lyle now, this is an English journalist this time, saying after the game against Inter, reported Tottenham target Dragusin was asked how far off he is from working out a new deal from Genoa. He said, "I don't know. We'll have to see, but we will reach an agreement." So that's his agent talking. And then Sky Sports Lyle says Genoa want around £26 million for Dragusin, who Spurs are interested in. So definitely seems as though there's no smoke without fire. Multiple reports now from multiple sources saying looks like Dragusin is the one we're moving forward for. Important to note, just to touch on Todibo, Romano is saying because of the Dragusin deal, it seems that the Todibo deal is now on the verge of collapse, and it seems as though we're going to go push the button on Dragusin. Obviously, he's a bit of a cheaper option at 30 million euros, 21 years of age. And look, he's apparently having an absolute phenomenal season in terms of his style of play. Very aggressive, very brave on the ball, really strong defender, someone who doesn't get bullied. 21 years of age, so very young, could definitely be molded. And it's a very exciting prospective deal. Former teammate of also Bentancur and Kulusevski at Juventus as well, when they were all part of the team. Last season was spent the whole season playing Serie B. So this season is the first time he's really been playing week in, week out in top-level football. But it seems as though we've done our scouting, we've looked at him, and we've decided Todibo is going to be a long deal, and it's going to be too difficult to do in the early week of the winter. If we want someone in through the door, he's going to be a lot more attainable. So does this prospective deal excite you, Brian?
Well, first of all, this has got Paratici written all over it, so that immediately gives me optimism and promise. It really has heated up with him, hasn't it? I was a little bit upset when I heard Todibo is going down, but what I wanted to see from Tottenham, if it does go down, is act quickly to go to the next one. And credit to, it looks like they're doing it. Credit to them, it looks like they're doing it. Whether it materialises, another thing, but we're hearing the right things, aren't we? We're hearing the right things. And like we said, Paratici at the helm is another really, really big sign. Obviously, he was with Kulu and Bentancur at Juve. So he's definitely had his influence stamped all over this. And we know his recent hit rate. But like you said, he is having a tremendous season in Italy. I didn't know a lot about him, I'll be honest, before we started getting these links with him. Then I looked up with him a bit more. And I'm thinking Simeon as well, at 21 years old, he probably knows that Van der Ven and Romero are the number ones. You're here for competition and to keep them on their toes. So I'm getting more and more positive about this deal. I'm liking what I'm hearing.
Yeah, from what I understand, like on the ball, in terms of his playing out the back and stuff, he's a brave player and he's not scared to make passes, but apparently he's still a bit raw, like still sometimes can be a bit inaccurate and stuff like that. But definitely, so he's a defender who likes to get forward. He's a defender who plays the dangerous passes when called upon. But, you can't expect the finished article at 21 years of age, can you? Especially in a position like a centre-back, where it takes a lot of experience, a lot of learning your craft and your trade to develop into a top-level player. And by all accounts, he seems quick, strong, brave, aggressive. He seems to have all the attributes to play in a Postecoglou system. And the encouraging thing as well is from all these reports. I mean, I guess the club are always going to feed this is Postecoglou's choice because that's the kind of information they want to put out there. But it does seem encouraging that Postecoglou does seem to have given this a green light. He looks like he's looked at the defender and said, this guy can definitely play in my system. This is the kind of defender we want playing for us.
Yeah, I mean, I completely missed Postecoglou out when I was just talking to Paratici. That's another huge tick on the box, isn't it, of the checklist of players that we want to identify. Yeah, he is very, very aggressive. Who knows? We could have Romero and him on a loop to cover each other's suspensions. Listen, at 21 years old, a player that's playing Serie A, an international, most importantly, spotted by Paratici. Second most importantly, Ange Postecoglou is apparently giving it the green light. What's there not to be happy about?
Yeah, 100% agree. And I think it's a very exciting deal. I also think as well the fact that we can potentially have him in, for the first week of the window and really have him available for January also would be a very exciting prospect. Obviously, it's going to be difficult to throw him into the deep end, isn't it? And if he is signed in the first week, he's pretty much going to have to get thrown straight in because we have no centre backs. But we saw Van der Ven. He was signed and within a few days. He was in a few days. He started against Brentford and he didn't seem to skip a beat, really, did he? So if Dragusin has that same mentality, maybe he can really adjust very quickly. So I'm very excited about that prospect. And look, let's see how it goes. That's
all we can do.
Yeah, 100%. So definitely keep an eye on this one because it seems definitely that it has legs. Moving on to Conor Gallagher. Now, there's been a lot of talk about Conor Gallagher in the last few days surrounding a prospective move to Tottenham, which has been, to the ire of a lot of Chelsea fans. I've seen it on social media. A lot of Chelsea fans are not happy with that prospective deal. But DiMarzio says Tottenham are currently in talks with Chelsea to sign Conor Gallagher, and they're looking to spend around £40 million. Pedro Almeida, who is maybe not the most reliable source apparently, but he's also been tweeting about it, saying Tottenham and Chelsea are in advanced talks and are very close to reaching an agreement for the transfer of Conor Gallagher for around €40 million, which would be very shocking if that was true in my eyes. However, the Evening Standard has poured a bit of cold water on this deal. They're saying there are currently there are no talks currently taking place between Chelsea and Tottenham regarding a deal with Conor Gallagher, despite reports elsewhere saying that negotiations were taking place. So reports in Italy suggesting that a deal could well be underway for Conor Gallagher. Reports here in England saying that definitely not as advanced as some people are saying. But for me, this deal definitely doesn't seem to be going away, does it? And there's the old Smith saying there's no smoke without fire. And this Conor Gallagher to Spurs deal just doesn't seem to die down, does it, in terms of the rumours?
It doesn't seem to die down soon. For some reason, I'm still saying I don't see it happening. I've been looking at this. Well, if we look at it, we bought Brennan Johnson for 50 million, and he's homegrown. Conor Gallagher for 40 million. And I just don't. If you're looking at the mass, I just don't see that being the figure. Mate, I think this is agent talk. I think this is agent talk trying to listen. I completely agree. This rumor won't go away. Do I believe there's interest from Tottenham Hotspur in Conor Gallagher? 100%. Do I think it's as far as what we're hearing? No, I don't. I think this is agents talking, or maybe Conor Gallagher wants a new contract at Chelsea, and maybe it's all nonsense and speculation.
I think he definitely wants a new contract because 18
Yeah.
months left. I reckon he's. I think I was chatting to Barnaby about this, and I think he's spot on. I think he's probably seeing all the new signings come through the door. Enzo, Caicedo.
Yep.
He's starting ahead of all these players, and he's their captain, and he's probably not even on a third of what they're on. I mean, I don't know, but if I was to assume, I reckon Enzo and Caicedo, you spend £100 million on these players, they're probably on over 150 to 200 grand a week. And Gallagher, I don't know when the last time he signed a new deal with Chelsea, but being a homegrown player, he's probably on like 50, 60, 70 or something.
Yep. I just, like I said, I think this is more agent talk to drum that up. But I have to completely agree with you is this deal simply does not go away. What's this now? The second window, and there's a lot of talk about it last window, and it's picked up right where it's left off. So do I think there's legitimacy to this rumor? Absolutely. Do I see it going ahead? I'm still unsure.
Yeah, and I do wonder what the fan reaction would be. Obviously, I don't wonder. I think I can see it for myself. I'm looking at a lot of social media accounts of Chelsea fans, some even suggesting if they sell Gallagher to Tottenham, they should start protesting the board because they'll be that unhappy with that kind of sale. And the reality is they might have to make this sale because of their FFP problems. Everyone praised them for how they've conducted their business, but the reality is if they're not getting European football with the way they've constructed their transfers, giving all these players really long contracts, then all of a sudden they could definitely be in trouble with FFP, even though they constructed the deals in such a way that they can spend all this money over a long stretch of time.
Yep.
But it definitely is relying on basically gambling on the fact they're going to get Champions League football every year. And this season, it seems a distant fantasy to think they're going to get Champions League football, which means they might have to make some sacrifices, and Conor Gallagher might have to be the one. I do think definitely he's angling. He probably I don't think he wants to leave. I reckon he wants to stay. I reckon he wants a better contract. But I actually think Chelsea are the ones who want to sell him. I think they want the money.
I'm inclined with you. On this whole deal, if we're talking just Gallagher and Chelsea, I'm completely in alignment with you, Simeon. I think they may be looking at him as a viable option because, as you said, Chelsea as a football club will always expect Champions League football. Obviously, last season they didn't get it. They were not good. Then when they brought in Poch and started spending the money, they probably thought, right, we're getting it. And that's backfired as well as we speak. And like you said, if they get Champions League football now, they've worked a miracle. And I just don't see that miracle coming to fruition. So I think getting back to the point, I think you're right. I think Conor Gallagher probably wants to stay and have a new contract. That's what his agents are doing. Whereas Chelsea are looking at the other way. We need to raise some capital. And you're a player that we can get it from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but in terms of just him as a player himself, is he someone do you really think is an upgrade like in our midfield? Would you love him through the door?
When he was at Crystal Palace, I thought he was remarkable. I thought he really, really had a standout season. I thought, my God, Chelsea are onto something here. Chelsea have got another starlet ready to bring through. But I haven't been that impressed with what he's done at Chelsea. But he has had a good season. I think this may be a bit of my bias because of who he plays for. But if he comes to the football club, I will give him my undying support.
Yeah, I think he's in terms of him being a player for Postecoglou. I actually think he could be a bit of a perfect fit. I think he's got an incredible engine. I think his pressing is one of the best in the league. I think he's incredibly aggressive, and I do think he's got quality. I think Chelsea have just been an absolute, a bit of a shit show, haven't they, in terms of the mess they've been in. And I actually think he's been a bit of a shining light in and amongst all that mess that they've encountered. And if there was a deal to be done there for Tottenham, I think it would be a great signing. I wouldn't say he's like a massive priority, because I do think we got a lot of good midfielders. But if we were able to get rid of Højbjerg and bring in a Gallagher, I think that would be a great move, and I definitely would think that'd be an upgrade. I do think he gets into our starting midfield. Actually, I think.
So who's your start?
I actually think right now, it might be controversial to say, I think he's a bit of a better player than Sarr right now. I think Sarr's obviously a bit younger than him, and doesn't maybe have as much experience in the Premier League. I think right now, just if I'm taking both players as they are currently, I think Gallagher's a bit ahead of him. I think maybe in a couple of years, Sarr might be the better player, but I do think Gallagher is I think he's a better all-round player right now than Sarr. So I do think he's a bit of an upgrade. So I do think it would be Maddison, Gallagher, and Bentancur or Basuma probably as our starting midfield, I think, as like our first choice. But I don't think he's like a game changer, if you know what I'm talking about. I don't think we put him in and he revolutionizes our midfield, but I do think it's a bit of an upgrade, but not massively. Yeah, I do like that signing. Next up, we are going to be talking about an interesting post by Bentancur's wife on Instagram, maybe suggesting something happening with Bentancur in regards to him maybe coming back into training. Let me try and get an image. Let me share this screen with you. I don't know if this is going to work. One sec. Can I share this? Is it working? What happens if 1 second? Bear with. If I just hide that and add that. There you go. So this is what Bentancur's wife shared on Instagram. A message saying L30 is back today. And now a lot of people are theorizing that apparently that this means he is back in training. And look, if it is true that he's back in training and he's getting close to full fitness, especially with our injuries and all the players out in January, what a massive boost that would be. But do you reckon people are reading too much into that, or do you reckon maybe that is a hint that he could be close to coming back?
Yeah, all I will say is, as Postecoglou said this week, don't listen to the players when they're coming back. We'll listen to the medical team. His wife's put that. Listen, it could be he's going back. It's his first day training on the grass with the players. It could be it's his first day back at the training. Listen, any news that he's progressing, and that sounds more of a positive post, is a great step forward for us. But yes, Matty Cash injured him, and he was absolutely on fire in that Villa game. Just don't rush him back. I know we desperately need him back, and I would love him back right now, but I do not want him rushing back just to pick up another injury. We need to take our time with him, but it doesn't. Listen, that's from his wife, and she's obviously saying something's happened today, isn't it? So he's back today, so that's a positive we can take. Do I think any quicker? I think that's it's too early to tell.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. Obviously, everyone is so desperate for Bentancur to get back on the pitch and play. After we literally just got a glimpse of what he can do against Villa, we know how good he is. Everyone's going to take any little thing and try and extrapolate that into Bentancur being back fit. But look, if there is anything to that, that would be absolutely massive. And let's really hope that Bentancur, there is some truth to him being back in training and back to full fitness, because that would be a massive boost for Spurs. Last but not least, we will be talking about the departure of Hugo Lloris. Yesterday, we did get the here we go from Fabrizio Romano that Hugo Lloris is off to LAFC. And more interestingly, tomorrow, Tottenham, apparently not Tottenham, but Romano has confirmed that Hugo Lloris will have a Tottenham farewell at the Bournemouth game tomorrow. So if you are going to be at the game, it'll be really nice to give Lloris a really nice send-off. And it was something that we commented, wasn't it, Brian, that in the summer, obviously he didn't end up leaving, so I guess they were right not to give him a send-off. But it was something that it looked like he was going to leave kind of through the back door without really getting to say goodbye. So I'm really happy that on Sunday, hopefully, I don't know whether it be before the game or halftime or whatever, that we'll get a good chance to show our appreciation for a player who's given us, 11 years of service.
Yeah, I mean, we've released a video on Tottenham on Tour saying au revoir to him. This is, I would imagine, this is exactly what we did for Jermaine Defoe before he moved to Toronto. It's exactly what we did. He came on at halftime in one of our European games. Can't remember the team, but he came on and had a 15-minute talk. I went through his favourite goals in a Spurs shirt and his time at Spurs. This man totally deserves it. Totally and utterly deserves it. Listen, the last few years hasn't worked out as we would have wished them, but this man has given unbelievable loyalty, stayed with the club through thick and thin, and is the best goalkeeper I've seen for Tottenham. Not my favourite, but the best keeper, apart from obviously the emergence of Vicario, that I'd seen. Fantastic shot stopper, and he deserves this goodbye. He deserved this farewell. I saw some Spurs fans saying, "Do you reckon he should play for 11 minutes?" 11 years. Like, no. Let's not get too excited because we never know what could happen there. But yeah, this man totally deserves a send off. Yeah, there's a little bit of hostility towards the end of things that happened and may have happened in changing rooms, but I want to think about the positives that he has given and the incredible saves and loyalty he's given. And hopefully I will see Hugo playing for LA against Toronto, and I won't be having heart attacks when he's got the balls at his feet. I'll be like, go get him, go get him, go get him. But yeah, it's a nice thing for the club to be able to say goodbye to him. He totally deserves it.
Yeah, 100% agree. And if anyone is at the Bournemouth game, make sure to show Lloris all the love and appreciation for his time at Tottenham. I really hope that he gets the send-off he deserves on Sunday. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to be at the game, but if I am, I definitely look forward to that moment. Yeah, look, I wish him all the best in LA. Hopefully he sees out his career the way he wanted. But unfortunately, look, the last 6 months haven't really gone to plan for him, I would assume. But I'm glad that this is now this future and this situation is getting sorted now, and it's not a situation that is ongoing, because I don't think it helps anyone with our former club captain hanging around the place and not being involved in the squad. I don't think it helps anyone as much as I'm sure he's a model professional and I'm sure he's not causing any trouble. I just don't think it's a situation that's healthy or helps anyone him hanging around here. So I'm glad that's getting sorted, and we'll wish him all the best on Sunday. But look, that is all we have time for today in today's Tottenham update. Thank you again to Brian Daigle for joining me and talking about all the Tottenham news over the last 24 hours. Go and subscribe to Tottenham on Tour if you haven't already. See more of Brian Daigle and his gang as well. The link will be in the title. But that is all we got time for.